Samurai Talk! Today we will be having a chat with a mysterious woman of unknown identity, not the Christian identity. What kind of a woman she is? And she's be one of our colleagues at ICEE. She's going to be our ICEE judge and MC too. So your name is Namiko Tsuruta. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where you're from? Why you're here?
It's a long story, so I'll try to keep it short. I was born in Japan. Actually, I was born in Kyushu. Both my parents are Kyushu people. And then my father got a job in the States. And so he asked my mom if he could move all of us to the United States, and specifically the East Coast. So I spent the first half of my life in the States. So everything, like all my schooling has been in America. And then I came back, ironically, to come back to teach English. I was a preschool teacher, and there were some Japanese students with parents who spoke no English. And so during the PTA meetings, I would be conversing with them in Japanese, and I realized...
You're more oriented toward East Coast, ethos-wise, than to West Coast.
I think there's a big difference, yeah.
Big difference.
Yeah. I think New England is unique. The original 12 colonies, as we often say. The schooling was a combination of American and British English, so that was a unique experience, for sure.
If you happen to be in a neighborhood in California, do you feel sort of laid back?
Yeah, it's interesting because people who haven't lived in New England have this certain image. And actually, I kind of lived that image. I went to a preparatory school. I went to a private school in high school. But I went to a Big Ten university. So my life changed a little bit after that. But initially, I lived a very protected life. Yes. My mom was...
It's not the shelter, the cocoon life.
I think both, because you kind of live in this bubble world. Yeah, when you...
But when you say to you from the East Coast, and people come away thinking, hey, she is kind of regimented, unlike...
Kind of snobby.
Snobby, but you're not.
No,
your English is perfect. Where did you acquire the type of English you are now speaking? Your English is breath. A lot of people take a lot of people's breath away. Beautiful. Where did you acquire that?
I want to give a lot of credit to my teachers, but to be honest, because I've studied linguistics now, I know that it's actually fluency practice that really helped me. So fluency in terms of listening to my friends speak. I used to have 4-hour conversations with my best friend in junior high school. She really helped me with my speaking fluency. Listening fluency was developed by watching just TV programs in the 80s, all the sitcoms. And I think the reading and writing, I think that comes academically, so.
In the eyes of many non-Americans, so the American culture is a looking culture. They look at it, watching television. Whether the Mexicans might say, look, we are a seeing culture. If you close your eyes, you can see things better. American, you can see perception is everything, like end on, try to improve your image, giving yourself a makeover. But you're not that kind of type.
Well, it's interesting because when I lived in the States, or when my family and I lived in the States, it was the 80s. And we mentioned New England. We were the only Japanese family. So people just embraced us. And I was just telling your colleague backstage that it was a very different time.
Because they embraced you, you began to embrace them.
Yes.
It's a two-way street.
Yes, and they were so curious about Japanese culture, and they were very sensitive about that as well.
We had a conversation with the Sakura-san about nature of social insects, the Japanese being ants, and they're very chemical. 空気を読む. Whereas Americans, by and large, are physical. So what kind of an insect are you, by the way?
That's a really good question. I would have to say I'm a praying mantis. Not because they're carnivores, or I suppose they call it insectivores, but because I devour everything. So I devour.
When someone gets near, you're gonna devour.
Yeah, I'm pretty full on. Yeah, I'm pretty
cautious the distance from you.
Yeah, I have a pretty big personality. So yeah.
Praying mantis have an appearance of alien visitors from overseas. There's a mantis man, according to National Geographic, spaceman. Visitors from outer space look like praying mantis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you said that you are ready to devour carnivalistic one. That scares lots of men.
I think so. I think so, especially Japanese women or
Japanese
Japanese men. Sorry,
it's
not women.
carnivorous,
Yeah.
Carnivorous. So you are what? Given the assumption you are what you eat, you like meat than vegetables.
Actually.
Well, maybe I shouldn't ask you that. It is okay?
No, it's totally fine because
Okay.
because my parents are both from Kyushu. They came from an agricultural background, so we love our vegetables. But of course, living in the States, I grew to love meat. But at home, we eat traditional Japanese foods.
Praying mantis, look at both sides, sitting on the fence, straddling to different worlds, ants and bees, Americans and bees, Japanese ants. How do you reconcile two different cultural differences?
That's a really
Living
good
here.
question. Yeah, that's a good question.
You're going to be an ant or a bee?
I think like an insect,
Yeah.
I kind of go through some kind of like metamorphosis every day.
Oh.
So when I'm working with my Japanese colleagues, I act a certain way. But when I'm with my foreign friends, I feel much more, I suppose, liberated to be myself.
You said metamorphosis has been around for more than 400 million years. The first incomplete metamorphosis, and then the 3.5 million, 100 millions, and there came a complete metamorphosis, completely changed, transforming, morphing into an entirely different being. What kind of a metamorphosis do you believe in?
I feel like humans change all the time.
All the time?
Yeah, we're always evolving with gained knowledge, new skills, new interactions.
But you haven't changed your name, Namiko Tsuruta, without giving a Smith, David, Sophia. You haven't changed that. Why? You don't want to change your identity. Why not?
No. Well, first, that name is special. Well, especially the first name, Namiko, is special because my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, gave it to me. And she's a Taurus. I'm a Taurus. On the astrological chart. And I feel like because she gave me my name, it's my given name. I don't want to change that part of my identity.
Why?
I've been asked many times though, but I've refused.
Why?
Because I don't see myself as a Nikki. I don't see myself as a Natasha. I see myself as Namiko. So,
Namiko.
Yeah.
But that you are still in search of your own identity, or trying to look for an opportunity to give you entirely new identity?
Actually, I've come to accept who I am. It was a hard and long process, I think. But having now lived in Japan for a little bit longer than I've lived in the States, I feel like I've come to terms with who I am. But now I think I need to look beyond myself and see what I can contribute
beyond color,
beyond
age,
identity,
race,
beyond gender.
creed. But you're not white enough, and yet Sakura Sachikona, I demanded she be the MC No one
which
has
I'm
ever-
honored. Yeah, I'm
You
extremely
feel
honored.
honored,
Yeah,
really?
I do.
You
I do.
feel pressure? Something?
I felt pressure initially, but
Otherwise,
but
your
now,
grandma
yeah.
is turning in her grave. What's gotten into her?
Yeah, I think she'd be really proud because this is the kind of work I've always wanted to do. Even though I have a Japanese name, I think it's important for people who live in Japan to be more open-minded, whether it be studying English or any other foreign language. I think it's important to have curiosity outside of Japan, to meet other people.
Curiosity is a dangerous word.
Curiosity killed the cat.
Kill
Yeah.
the cat. So curious, you can't afford to be overly curious.
Yes.
How curious is curious?
Yeah.
So you seems to be the logical choice for the ICEE judge, ICEE MC. Both Secret Sergeant and I am proud of you being
Thank you so much.
ICEE
It really
judge.
is an honor.
It's been
Thank
more
you.
than 30 years. So tell us why everyone watching us needs to take part in ICEE. Just to give us a 3 or 5 minute speech off the cuff. I interpret simultaneously.
Okay, so now I'm going to look at the
それ
camera.
で今カメラを見て喋ってもいいですかね。
I suppose I should start with
まず最初
my
話を
first
したいことは
impression
まず最初
of
の
ICEE.
印象ですね。ICEE を受けた時
When I first
に
came back to teach English,
まあ
I was
日本に
kind
帰
of
ってきて英語を教え
disillusioned
る
because I had a
時は
feeling that
幻滅を感じた
because
ことがあるん
students had
ですよ
been
ね。
studying English
ま
for
あ
many
生徒
years,
は何
I
年も
thought
英語を勉強
pretty
してるんだけども
much
全
people could
然もの
communicate
にな
in
って
English.
ないし英語で
However,
コミュニケーションができない。
having experienced
で
teaching
私
English
自
at
身
all
は
different
英語
levels,
を
I've
いろん
realized
な
that
状
it's
況から中
really
継した
the
まで
quote
教えてきたん
returnees
です
or
けど
those
も
who've
日本へ帰
actually
ってきた
studied
人
abroad
間と
who
して
can
ですね
speak.
やっぱりこう英語のでき
And
る
that
人を
was
見て
what
きましたが
was
日
inspiring
本の
about
場合
ICEE
は
because
どう
those
も伸びない
participants are
ところ
not
が ICEE を見
returnees.
てちょっと違うんですよね帰国
But
子女
what's
というん
unique
じゃない
about
んで
the
すけれども
participants is
まあ
that
日
they
本
are
の
all very
参加者を見ている
confident,
時に
not
なんか
about their
自信
English
に
skills,
満ちてる
but
っていう
confident
ただ英
in
語
being
だけ
able
じゃ
to
ないんですね
express
自
what
分
they
の
think.
考えをこのように伸ば
And
せ
so
る
that makes me
で
think
きる
that
んだ
if
とい
I
う
was
気
to
持ち
have a
を自分
conversation
に
with
は
them in
伝わってきまし
Japanese,
た
they would
ただ
be
単なる英語の勉強じゃ
able
なく
to
てですね
express
だからや
in
っぱり
English or
自
in
分の考え
Japanese
を
anything
英
that
語
they
で
wanted
だ
to.
から
But English
自
just
己
happens
表
to
現が
be a
できる
tool
というこ
for
とだから
communication.
英語は単なる道具であるということを
Being
感
the
じている人
MC,
があったこと
also
は
the
ないん
judge
ですよ
for
ね。
ICEE,
まあ
it's
ICEE
really
の
helped me
司会をして
understand
感じた
that
こ
it's
とがあり
not
ます。
just
これは単なる
those
です
who
ね
participate in
中に
events
参
like
加し
this,
て
but I think we need to have more opportunities for
参
students
加意
to
欲だけ
do
じゃ
this
なく
in
て
a
そこ
regular
か
classroom
ら
or
普通のクラスで
create
は
some kind of platform so
経
that
験できないような
learners of
創
all
造性
levels
の
can
発掘とか
experience
ね
this kind
やはりこ
of
うちょっと勉強してその場パッと覚えて
performance, I
すぐ消えて
suppose,
しまうという
with
刹那的
people,
な
like-minded
体験じゃな
people,
くてですね同じような人間が集まって話
and then
をし
to kind
て
of
その
experience
中
the
で
joy
満
of
足をす
speaking
る
a
とい
second
うことじゃ
language
なくて
or a
自分
foreign
のことは
language,
以外の外
and be
国語を
able
勉
to
強し
say what
て
you want to
そして
say
本当に
without
自分の本音
worrying
で
about
語り上げ
perfect
ることが
English,
できると
but
その結
you know,
果
but
英
saying
語がうま
something
くなるというこ
meaningful
とですまず最初に
and with
言いたいこと
purpose.
があるそれを表現できるということが素晴らしいなと
So
考え
if you
ま
want
し
to
た
come and
ですね
observe, more
皆さんが
importantly, if you
もう
want to participate
全
in
部参加して
ICEE,
もらったら一番いいんですけ
please
ど、
join
まあ、見る
us.
だけでもいいですけどどうしてもそういう時はぜひ皆さん参加してください。Michihiro Matsumoto, known as Channel Tokyo, Japan.